Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm your host Stefan Burns, and today's video is going to be a little different than the standard video where I provide an Earth energy update based on a lot of different data and I summarize it for you. Today's video is also an energy update, but much more intuitive, and so it's based upon a very interesting, powerful experience that I had today. This was a vibratory consciousness transfer experience, very emotional experience, and it deals with some of the energies at play right now as it relates to all of us, specifically mid-August and the Aquarius Full Moon. So also just FYI, the reason I'm sitting down today is because I had a really bad quad pull this morning. It's part of the story. So I really can't walk that easily. So that's why I'm sitting down. So please, if you can, send me some love and prayers. And I'll mention this more at the end of the video, but just quickly, FYI, spirituality is back in stock, and my newest herbal tea blend, fruit tea, is also in stock. Less units, but pairs great with spirituality. Tons of flavor with fruit tea. This is great for psychic enhancement, meditation, sound healing, dream enhancement, astral travel, all the amazing things that you love because they keep going out of stock instantly. So this video was really born from a dream experience that I had this afternoon because I pulled my quad. You know, you should be resting. And so I bought a 20-to-1 CBD to THC cream and I rubbed it on my thigh where I have the muscle sprain. And so I haven't used any cannabis products for a while, which is, I think this helped potentiate the whole experience. But then I went to lay down and I had a very nice restful sleep. The pain subsided. And then as I was in REM sleep, coming out of the deep sleep cycle, I had this very interesting experience where I was basically a receiver, an information receiver, like an antenna dish. And I started getting these different signals and chatter in my brain. And the first radio station, you could say, maybe it was a radio station, that I tuned to, that I just picked up, you could say, was political. And I really think it wasn't a radio station. I think this was the group mind, whether it's local or larger. But it was this political commentary, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to hear this. And so I was almost about to wake up, but then the channel changed. And it changed to something else that was also people talking and informational. Then it changed again. And so I was having this experience with these different information streams being picked up while I was in a dream state. And I was pretty conscious during this. But then it subsided, and instead I felt this vibration take my body, this very powerful vibration. And here I am laying down. I live in Pacific Beach, San Diego, so I'm right next to the ocean. I've seen dolphins off the coast. There's a lot of whales here. And this vibration was actually a whale's song. Very clearly, it was a song of a whale singing. I felt it vibrate my body. And with vibration and with energy comes information. And it was one of these moments that I've had many times in dreams where there was an instant knowing. And so the information of that song, I immediately knew what it was. And it was for the tremendous, tremendous sadness and suffering of the whales that has occurred for a long time now, but really going back 100, 200 years when we hunted them like crazy. And in the emotional depth of this was so profound. And so I found myself in this dream starting to just get really emotional. I started sobbing in the dream. And it felt so healing at the same time. It actually felt really good because not only was I experiencing this, I was a conduit to heal this pain that was brought upon this highly intelligent, group of sentient beings that live on this planet with us. And so this whole experience was very profound because it made me realize that we have a lot of things that we're focusing on, but knowing the astrology for this month, specifically for this Aquarius Full Moon, I think we have some bigger things that we need to be conscious and aware of and to do some deep soul and spiritual healing before we can move on. And the other thing I find really interesting about this is that this experience was done in the dream state where your brainwaves naturally dip down to lower frequencies, that theta range, like the Schumann resonances. 4 to 8 hertz frequencies, more like 6 to 9 hertz, are really super active during REM sleep. And so that's when you have Schumann resonances. And whales are one of the animals that are most connected to Schumann resonances because they are super strong in the ocean. And they have these massive brains. They're completely conductively connected to the earth at all times. We're conductive, our feet are conductive, our hands, we have a lot of nerve endings, but salt water is one of the most conductive geologic materials other than pure metal like copper or iron or something, or ore deposits. And they are in that all the time. And they are masters of frequency and vibration, right? They can talk to each other from miles and miles and miles away with their vocalizations, and they have ability to use ultrasound and all these amazing techniques and abilities. And so what I feel like I actually received was the whales talking to me through the Schumann resonances, because there can and are definitely whales off the coast of where I am, singing and talking to each other. But I know physics, and those sound waves are not going to be able to be felt when I'm laying down in my apartment in busy Pacific Beach. But my brain can reconstruct the experience if it's given the information via the Schumann resonances. Our temporal lobes are pulsing at that frequency. Different parts of our brain are resonant at those frequencies. And so this energy and information is contained within it. And so I experienced this deep suffering for the whales. And that energy, as a result, it's clearly still there. It hasn't gone away. It is an imprint in these energy fields, the Schumann resonances and others. It is an imprint there that has yet to be fully healed. I'm not the first person to talk about this. I'm not the first person, I'm sure, to experience this. I actually had an interesting conversation with someone who has very interesting whale experiences. I'm sure she'll comment on this video if she watches it. But I felt that I needed to share this because over our life and our recent history, you could say, we have done a lot to this planet. We are the guardians of this planet. We are the stewards of this planet. We've done a lot of great things, and we've also inflicted a lot of harm. And we need to be conscious of that. And we can't just say, oh, well, that's in the past. We just need to keep moving forward. We need to move forward by healing these things. And that's one way, a very powerful key part of ascending to New Earth, what we call New Earth, to raise our vibration, to go from 3D to 5D. That's all part of it. And so instead of being distracted by, let's say, politics or the economy or, some new world event or whatever, right? Pandemic, we need to really spend and devote some of our consciousness collectively and individually towards these very important matters, because we do not inhabit this earth ourselves. I think humans forget that in general. We are here co-inhabiting the planet with many other highly intelligent, highly conscious sentient beings like whales. And so it just made me think about what the energetic dynamics are at this moment in time. I'm actually very grateful now in many ways that I pulled my quad, because it forced me to quiet down, to rest, and to have that experience, which I'm still integrating, but I wanted to share it with you today. So then I also want to talk about the frequency of the sun, because right now we are at solar maximum. I've discussed this. Solar energies are at their all-time high for solar cycle 25. They are absolutely bonkers. And they're actually some of the highest that they've been for a long time. And so this is a very important topic and can help us better understand all this. So here is a mind map that I created of the sun, and really it's more the frequency for the word sun. When I say the word sun, I'm creating a specific frequency, a vocalization, a sound. And there are other words in English language and other languages that sound very similar. And so this is a very interesting thing to explore. I've done it before, but I haven't done it in a video. And so we have the frequency of the word sun. It's also the exact same frequency as the word son. So I'm a mother's son. We also have the Son of God, Jesus. In Russian, for example, it's the other language that I have some grip over. In Russian, the word for son is sin. That's right here, sin. Well, sin sounds a lot like sin in English. What did Jesus die for? He died for our sins. Sin and sin are very similar to the word seen. And then there's Helios, who's the Greek god of the sun. That's very much the word heal, eos. And he was the all-seeing. The gods went to him when they needed to know what was happening on the planet because he was the all-seeing God, always there in his chariot going over. And so to see something is to heal it. And that is why I'm making this video, because that experience let me see this aspect of reality. It reminded me of what we've done to many other animals on this planet. I mean, I think everyone knows about the whale hunting, but I was able to, together with them, experience it, even if just for a moment. It was very transformative. We have sun here, also connected to a lot of other things. So for example, sun is connected to soul. This is the German sun goddess. Soul is connected to our soul. Salt has a lot of different ways of saying it. Soul is one of them. Soul, salt, sol, cell. Sun connected to the Russian word. In Russian, it's solnce. And very similar in frequency. The actual frequency of the sound is serce, which means heart. Heart and soul. Soul is residing in the heart. The heart is creating that soul field. So here, just in general, what we're seeing is that we have the sun, like the sun connected to the masculine principle of the Son, Jesus, God's child, God's Son, who heals us of our sins because he sees them. And this is healing for our soul. We have this connection to the ocean with salt. And so I just find this all very interesting that all these words are kind of working around one central theme of what the sun represents. I think we can look at the sun and it represents all these things. It is shining light, and by shining light, it casts shadows, which you could consider sins. It illuminates things that previously were dark and unexplored. It brings consciousness to them. And that is the healing process. With the whales bringing that experience to me, delivering that to my consciousness, I was able to see it. And as a result, I was able to feel it and become a conduit for healing for them. And so that is what this Aquarius full moon is really asking us about. If I go over to the chart, let's go through this. I'm going to try to keep it fairly basic because there's a lot happening here. A lot of wonderful astrologers have talked about this already, but I'm going to kind of come at this from a different angle because I think a lot of us are wrapped up in this illusion at this time. I think I was simply 6 hours ago just as much as anyone else, but this experience has helped me to kind of jump out of that a little bit more, thankfully. So I'm very grateful for that experience. Here we have the Aquarius full moon. This is August 19th, 2024, 1826 UTC. That's universal time. You convert to your time zone. Here we have two crosses, basically, these T squares. And these are both very powerful. The first one is formed by the sun opposing the moon, or the moon opposing the sun. That's a full moon. They're always in opposition. The sun is anchored to one area. The moon is then using that light to illuminate some other aspect of reality that's oppositional. In the house of the sun, Leo is the house of the sun. And then Aquarius here is the house of Saturn, traditionally now the house of Uranus. Well, guess who is square to both of them? Uranus himself. So the modern ruler of Aquarius is square the moon and sun, and Mercury's in here adding communication and some of his mercurial qualities to this intellect, bringing this to our awareness. He's also retrograde. So he is reviewing things. He's going back. He's looking at things very closely. Then in addition to that, we'll talk about those energies more, but in addition to that, we also have here Venus opposite Saturn with Mars and Jupiter in a conjunction, a 2-degree orb basically, 1.5 degree orb, square to both of them. And so I see this really beautifully. Here we have Saturn in the sign of Pisces, the sign of the ocean, and he's going through and he's looking at his list, and he is he's very stern, and he is seeing, okay, what things have been, what sins have been committed, for example. And he'd be like, okay, yeah, humans and whales, ooh, they really scored poorly on that one. And then here, Venus is in Virgo, the sign of nature and earth. And Venus is more than just love and beauty. She's also very much about relationships. We talk about that a lot. We often talk about Venus with relationships with other people. But here, I really think Venus is more talking about our relationships to other animals and the earth herself. And so she is now engaging with Saturn in this opposition. I feel it's actually a very beneficial arrangement here. And then we have Mars and Jupiter there in Gemini. See, right now in our society, we are so focused on information. And information, though, is not consciousness. Information's information. We have an information addiction right now. I'm seeing that more clearly going to places like the gym, where people, right after they're set, they're right back on their phone. They're on their phone in the sauna, which is another word. The German word for sun is Sonne, which is almost like the word sauna, heat. And so we have this information addiction. It's really powerful right now with Jupiter there expanding it, Mars energizing it, and we just need to be mindful of these other energies at play. And we can use our intellect and our mental abilities in that mental dimension to redistribute our focus on things that are more important for the consciousness of our planet and for the ascension from 3D to 5D to New Earth. Then we have the sun and the moon here. First off, the moon is also connected to the oceans. It's connected to motions. It's connected to our body. It's connected to tides, fortune, fate, karma. The moon here in Aquarius is reminding us of our collective responsibility to work with these energies. The sun is the light of consciousness, providing the light out in and out completely to illuminate all these aspects. Here with Mercury, there, the messenger. So you have Apollo, you have Hermes, the two of them working together. It's fantastic. They're in Leo. They're shining this light into our collective responsibility with the moon. Pluto there at the very beginning is transmuting all this, reminding us that this is the first step of the journey. We have 20 years to go as it relates to this. And Uranus, reminding us of the earth and of our body, is adding to this whole equation. Now, what I think of Uranus as it relates to this is, I was feeling these emotions and these experiences of the whales. And there's a lot of ways, of course, to experience emotion, and to transmute those energies. But certainly one of the most powerful ways of transmuting emotional energy is to actually move our body. And I think almost everyone knows that. So dancing, or if you're angry, like sometimes it's like taking a pillow and just going nuts, right? They have like rage therapy. And if you have a lot of energy to move your body, we as humans are very, very gifted, not only in our mind, in our consciousness, but we have a body that can experience so many things because we have hands and we have great dexterity and flexibility. And so anyone that does yoga knows all the different postures you can get into. Whereas if you look at a whale, they have some amazing skills and abilities, but a whale can't curl up into a ball and weep and cry, nor can it stretch out and really kind of absorb everything. It has its flippers and its tail, and it can go up and down and roll around and splash, and it can do some things. But a lot of animals are much more limited in their ability to express themselves physically as compared to humans. We are one of the most gifted animals or species or sentient beings, organisms, whatever, for that. And so as a result, it is our responsibility, not only for collective human emotions in our own emotional body, to move and to express this and to transmute it through movement. It is also a responsibility for other organisms on the planet, especially those that we've wronged, like whales. There's a lot of people who've done a lot of amazing things for whales and other sea life, of course, but there's also a lot of sins that we have committed. And so I think Uranus here reminding us, Taurus is fixed earth, very much representative of the body. Uranus is reminding us that we can move our body, we can change, we can dance, we can flow, we can do things that are radical, liberate ourselves to work with these energies here of Venus, reminding us about our relationships with other sentient beings, and Saturn there in Pisces with the checklist. Neptune at 29 degrees at that final critical degree, rounding up the entire thing. Neptune is our deep subconscious, our collective consciousness. Now, the other really interesting thing that drives us all home, that gives me zero doubt on astrology, right? Once you study it, you understand it, is the fact that Ceres here is square the nodes of fate. So we have Ceres, which is related to the ancient Greek god Demeter, who lost her daughter Persephone to Pluto in the underworld, and as a result, the earth went barren because she was the earth goddess. She's the sister to Zeus, very powerful, one of the original Olympians, but she went through this tremendous grief cycle. Really went into those depths as a mother, grieving for the loss of her daughter, and the earth went barren. And it wasn't until Persephone was returned that everything came back. So she is very much representative of deep grief and emotion and eventual healing. In Capricorn, another earth sign, the sign of the sea goat, Saturn. So now we have Saturn back in the equation here with Ceres. And she is square the nodes of fate. The nodes of fate are related to the moon, right? They are where the moon's orbital path crosses the Sun-Earth ecliptic plane. They're very fated energies. South node is the past, North node is the future. And so she is working with them at the same time as all this is occurring. And I think this full moon is going to express itself in an infinite amount of ways, as these energies do. But a big one that I'm feeling right now, at least myself, is the fact that this is more than just us. It's more than just the political theater or the economy or some of these other things that are distractions at the end of the day, because we only have one earth and we only have so much time to make the right decisions as it relates to our earth before perhaps she decides to shake things up. And we've seen in the geologic record massive apocalyptic events that have occurred. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it does happen. Asteroid strikes, crazy floods, and massive earthquakes, and giant solar flares, and all these things do happen. And so it's not like we have an unlimited clock. We only have so much time, and every second, every moment that we have, the present is when we should be doing the work and focusing our consciousness in the direction that is for the benefit of ourselves individually, benefit for the collective of humanity, all sentient beings on this planet, and for the earth herself. So that is what I would like to discuss in this video. I hope you found that valuable. And if you would like to access some of these more spiritual dimensions yourself, like I have a very developed ability to dream. Not everyone does. If you would like to develop that, then spirituality is the tea blend that I've made for this very reason. I developed this in 2022. It's a combination of chamomile, mugwort, passion flower, and blue lotus flower. And so you can actually see some big blue lotus flowers in these tea bags here. Here's a close-up. You can see all the blue lotus flower. It is a very powerful herb connected to the creation of the universe itself, and also Ra, the sun god. It's in Egyptian mythology, Ra was birthed from a lotus flower rising up from the darkness of chaos, none. So if you'd like to connect to some of those fields and to do some of that work yourself, to shoulder that responsibility, because that is one of our duties as humans. And it wasn't hard either. I was enjoying it. I felt it was like cathartic. It felt so good to be a conduit for these emotional energies, or just to be more in tune with yourself and your own traumas and energies that exist in your body, to have enhancement of your meditations or sound healing, yoga, even if you're practicing with astral travel or other psychic things, then spirituality is the tea blend for you. I've used it a lot because I've developed it myself, and that was back in 2022. And so it is amazing. And now, mind my shuffle here. Now, if you would like to increase the flavor of spirituality, then fruit tea is really amazing. This is an all organic fruit tea. It's strawberry, elderberry, rose hips, hibiscus, and lemon balm. And so by itself, it's already an amazing herbal tea blend. It's really good for your immunity. The rose hips are pumped up with vitamin C. Elderberry is great for that. Lemon balm is really good for helping you calm. It's really great for anxiety, for de-stressing, for helping you to sleep better. And so these two actually go really well together, which is why I decided to make this and offer them at the same time. And it's also just really great if you just have a sweet tooth at night, but you don't want to, let's say, like, have something sweet because you know it's not good for you. You're like in your consciousness, you know it's not good for you. This will help you satisfy that craving because it is very sweet with the strawberry. These are freeze-dried strawberries. That's the first ingredient. So that's why it's a little bit more pricier than I would have liked to have offered it, but freeze-dried strawberries are expensive, but this stuff is amazing. It's super good for you, not only for your immunity and your overall wellness, but also for example, your mental health and for being able to rest, relax, de-stress, sleep. Great for anxiety because of the lemon balm. So I hope you find these products valuable and useful. They're both linked in the video description. Last time I offered spirituality sold out in like just hours. So if you want to get on it, I would get on it fast. And if you would like to add some additional fruity flavor to it, or you're just interested in fruit tea in and of itself, then that's also linked. There's only 33 units of this one, where there's a lot more of the spirituality. So happy to provide those for you. And thank you so much for watching this video. You know, this is a very interesting, nuanced kind of, but also holistic topic. So if you have any thoughts on this that you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments below, or experiences that you've had that have been similar. I do think that we are going the right direction, that leaders are stepping up, and that we are in an awakening process. So I made the video, the Grand Starseed Awakening. I do feel that is occurring, but it's not oh, there it is. Like, it is a process that's taking time. And so I hope you have your own experiences like that, which really transform your experience, transform your understanding of reality, help you to better influence the world, the direction of the world that we're going in, other people, help to heal this planet. And I'll be here with you every step of the way. So if you'd like to be part of this community, then subscribe to the channel. It's that simple. All you have to do is click that button and you're part of the Soul Tribe. So, and there's actually a real Soul Tribe as well. If you'd like to sign up for the Soul Tribe Telegram chat, then you can just join as a special channel member. That's for like $2 a month. We have a Telegram chat. We chat about a lot of very interesting things in there that you can't really do in the comment section. So love and light to all of you. Think of the whales, and I'll see you all in the next video.